I know how to break into my house if I have to.
It's like Batman, always having Superman's kryptonite.
One time I was afraid that I left the oven on, so I tried getting one of our friends to break into the house, and I told him how to do it, but basically he looked in a slightly wrong location. If he had just tried the next thing he thought of in his brain, he would have been able to get into the house, but he didn't. So he just hung out. He was able to get into one room, the theater room. Mm-hmm. That's as far as he got. So he's just, I'll just hang out in here. I'm like, all right, just tell me if you smell smoke. And if you do, you should probably leave the house.
But don't call 911 because they'll think you're a burglar.
That's true.
I'm guessing you have a gas oven.
Yeah, okay. I had turned the oven off, so it wasn't an issue anyway.
Well, welcome back to Breaking and Entering, the podcast. No, this is Whistle Why You Dork, the show where we talk about geeky things and not anything remotely political or divisive whatsoever, ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how we like to keep it. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into what we got for this podcast. Drew, what is the fated word of the day that we'll say we're going to use in a sentence at some time during this podcast, but end up not using?
I just got to interrupt. I feel like we were way too subtle about that. We'd never say anything political. Because if someone's just tuning in, they're going to think that we're way bigger dorks, so we actually... we'd never say anything offensive. We don't want to hurt you. We need friends.
And viewers!
My word of the day is hail. How do you think you spell hail?
Well, it depends. Are we talking about the verb or the noun?
We're talking about a verb.
A verb. H-A-I-L?
That is one version of hail.
No.
But there is another. There is H-A-L-E. And they have really similar definitions. Mm-hmm. But hail, H-A-I-L, is to summon something. H-A-L-E is to haul something.
Haul like a truck hauls
if I wanted
something?
to hail H-A-I-L a taxi, I would wave out my hand to go taxi. If I wanted to hail H-A-L-E a taxi, I would put my hands under the bumper and drag it to wherever it needs to go.
That is, I never knew the word hail, H-A-L-E, which I think I've always associated with the weather. The weather we get in the summertime. That can also be a verb. Where you pull something?
I thought the weather was spelled H-A-I-L.
No, I think it's H-A-L-E.
This is a job for the dictionary. Actually, this is a job for Pokemon, because
brought to you by words.
There's an attack called Hail. Well, it's not an attack, it's a weather move, and I'm like 1,000% positive it's spelled
Castform uses it, right?
A lot of Pokemon can use it.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Oh, I thought the one... There's a little... footnote 1 next to the word on the dictionary website he said. I thought that was an apostrophe. I'm like, oh, it's hail, but with a rough breathing, like hell.
That'll be next week's word of the day.
Hell.
Unnecessary apostrophes are the way
to go. Okay, well, let's see if we can use it. We won't. My high on knowledge for this podcast is actually kind of meta. I was reading this online article today. I read a lot of legal news and legal publications. This was on Reuters, and they had a story. I could only find it in this one location. I couldn't find it on like their main website or whatever. It was a story where the United States Court of Appeals invalidated this guy's patent, which he tried to get on what today we would call a podcast. In the mid-90s, and I should have read it more closely. I apologize if I'm getting the facts wrong here, but from what I understand, in the mid-90s, in the early days of the internet, this guy, the patent owner, I guess in this case, had this idea of like, what if we had serialized audio recordings dispersed, to the many, hundreds of people who use the internet. And he's like, that's a great idea. This is a new and useful idea. I deserve a patent on this. And I think he went to the patent office. They said, yeah, that's new and useful enough. Let's give you that patent. And so he has this patent, and this must have been going on for years. And I mean, he could have only used it for so long because patents don't last typically more than like 2 decades. He sued a few news agencies, among whom I think was CBS, who I guess has their own podcast. He's like, you owe me royalties. You're doing this podcast. You make all this money. I deserve some of it too because this is my idea. And they're like, no, that's stupid. And so the Electric Frontier Foundation, who does a lot of pro bono, like internet free information type stuff, bankrolled this case. They went to the patent office and said, you guys gave this guy a patent. That's stupid. You shouldn't have done that. It's clearly like something a person should not have a patent over. Which, you can get into the merits of yes or no or why. And the patent office said, we have to. Your patent's invalidated. They got a point there. They appealed it, and then today the verdict, the 3-judge panel came out and said, your patent is what is referred to as too obvious. That is to say, patents have to be a number of things, and one of them is non-obvious. So I guess like in the early 2000s, like a bunch of news agencies, including CBS, other things on the internet in their infancy, I'm sure, maybe NPR had this similar idea as well, all started to like develop these serialized audio recordings that they were distributing online all around the same time, and said, you made this at a time where people were actually kind of thinking about this. You're trying to capitalize on a collective idea. You can do that at the end. So guess what? We're not getting sued for a podcast. Hooray.
We would have sued him
for our idea
of suing people like an asshole. Which is too obvious because he and a bunch of other fucking jerks have thought of it. All right, that isn't. I like the too obvious thing.
All right. Let's get into one of our recurring segments that's been on the show for several times. It's Fuck Yeah This Week. What you got, a positive or uplifting story that marginally improved your week in recent days?
I will admit, part of me wanted to save Fuck Yeah This Week for the end of the podcast.
You did.
Or team. I'm okay with doing it now.
Okay.
It's just the question of where's that music gonna be?
I'm not even gonna make it an issue this time.
Is it gonna be here, or is it gonna show up abruptly at the end when it's not even relevant?
Like after we've said our bit?
Yeah, like.
And then this happened.
I'm thinking after the main topic, it's just like where you just totally forget.
Stupid music.
You don't even remember I ever made this gag, and then oh, that's right, there we go. But now I can't do that because people are gonna. Oh, I'm gonna remember. Drew's not gonna outsmart me. But maybe I will. So yeah, I have Fuck Yeah This Week.
Yeah.
Come on and gather round and come on and gather round and come on and gather round. It's time for Fuck Yeah This Week.
Yes. It just happened an hour or two ago. Because I was trying to think of a Fuck Yeah This Week, and then it happened, and I went, yeah, you know what?
All at once.
That works.
Yeah.
So I was filling up a gas container. I don't want to call it a tank. A 2-gallon jug.
Yeah. Whatever. Thing you use for your lawnmower sometimes.
It's called something.
Gas container.
That's it?
That's what I call it.
That's like what I was trying to figure out.
I call it gas cans, maybe? Gas can, gas container.
Could be a gas can. It's like when I was trying to figure out, what's that circular safety thing you use in the water called? I swear it had an interesting name, but it's just called safety tube. Like, what? Like, that's it? So anyway, I'm filling it up. And I've been a busy bee as of late. And so I'm trying to fill it up, and it splatters. Basically, the nozzle just slips a little bit, and the gas spilt out on the edge, and it wasn't going in the cans.
And you were smoking at the time, so that's why your flesh is singed off.
Yes, I mean, this really is a don't smoke and gas PSA. The billboards are all over the place.
I mean, we're making this joke, but like Zoolander already made it, so it really doesn't matter at this point.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry.
Whatever. I mean, you know what? It's still a very important issue in these times.
It is.
We have thousands.
Don't smoke and fill your car.
Thousands
guys.
of people per minute are dying from smoking while also playing around with gas.
And by smoking.
That's true. It remains to be seen if it was just a coincidence. Like maybe they just died from smoking at the exact moment that they were exploding.
Explode and get emphysema at the same time.
We do still need the autopsy report, but
sorry, keep going.
yeah, it was splattery old mess, and I was bummed out. I went, tarnation. But then I'm driving home. I'm listening to a song. And you know that part of the song, it's not every song, but sometimes you hear a song and it just builds up and you get to this really heavenly moment that just makes you feel really good.
Yeah.
So, just as I was getting to that part of the song, the sun was shining. It was a beautiful, glorious moment. And I look at my speedometer and it's at exactly 188,000 miles. Oh. Just as that part of the song, you're like, and I was just, I mean, I like numbers. It's such a nice, even number. So for me, I'm like, it's just such a nice way to receive the news that I've hit this many miles. Especially
Too bad my warranty's gone.
I mean, especially after that obnoxious gas moment, just having a little moment like that, that's nice. Because, you know, I always think, where am I going to be when I hit that number? I hope it's an exciting moment, you know, and when I hit 189,000 miles, I'm like, oh, I hope this is an exciting moment. So it's nice that moment was just so glorious.
Yes. Mine's a little less uplifting. Mine's going to be a first. I hope more of my fuck yeahs this week aren't based on this, but mine's kind of Schadenfreude based.
Okay.
Taking delight at another's expense. So I have this friend on Facebook, and it was his birthday recently, and I think he must have used Time Warp or something, but he commented on a birthday post that was like 2 years old, and my other friend had shared with him the trailer for the Disney Into the Woods, you know, with Meryl Streep and James Corden and everything that was coming out in December. And I guess the two of them are big musical fans. I really like Into the Woods. I was excited about this movie as well. And then I saw it. And she was like, we're going to see this movie and it's going to be awesome. And he's like, yeah. 2 years later, he comments on this birthday post, quote, "This movie was disappointing." And I'm just like, wow. I don't know how you refound this post or if you used Time Hop. He had to have, but you took the time out to say what not a good movie it was. And I appreciate giving the movie its devil's due. So good on you, man, for telling it like it is.
Still waiting, because I like fucking around on Facebook, and at one point I was just having a conversation with my past self or something like that, and I commented, I think this was a couple years ago, saying, if you think I'm bad, you're going to hate what 2019 Drew has to say. I'm just remembering, like, 2019, I got to go back, and I got to make this absurdly dedicated Facebook page, post, I should say.
How old is the post?
See, that's the confusing thing. You call a comment on a post too. At least I do.
Do you? I call it a comment.
But if you had a post that said, I, Brandan Ray, have loved donkey dicks, I would say, yeah, I posted in response, Brandon, that's not good. No, actually, how would
that's
I
not
phrase
good.
it?
You can make a much better joke than that.
Maybe I would say commented. Maybe I'm just overthinking this.
Maybe.
I'm so confused.
Yeah.
What was I even talking about? Right, okay, so
Posting in the future.
I was talking about I wanted to make a really elaborate post. Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense, Brandon. Don't worry. It's gonna be all right.
Thank goodness, because we're getting into today's topic, and we're both really riled up about this one because I know we have very different opinions, and I'm partially riled up for different reasons, but we'll get into that.
I don't even know if I'm riled up.
We're gonna talk. Well, you said you were angry before we began. But
It wasn't about this topic at all. I was just separately angry.
Damn, I wanted us both to be angry.
I mean, I will enjoy your pain, but I will also.
You're welcome.
I'm sure I'll get heated.
Today we're gonna talk about spoilers. Spoilers in terms of movies, television shows, games, even. Just the concept of ruining a piece of media by either deliberately or soft spoiling, quote unquote, by giving away plot details, things that happen in general to people, and then people getting unfairly upset at you for it.
And I think before we begin, we are talking about spoilers, so you need to do a spoiler alert.
Oh, right. Spoiler alert. We're going to be talking about a lot of movies and might be spoiling them. So
I wasn't even thinking about that accurately. I was just making a joke.
I understand you're
I
making
guess
a
we
joke.
should do a legitimate
yeah.
spoiler.
We're making a joke here because we're going to be talking about spoilers, so spoilers, but also really legit spoilers because we will be talking about several famous spoilers from several famous movies that I argue have entered the public domain, and Drew might argue that they haven't.
There are 2 layers of spoiler alerts here. This might be the only time spoiler alerts get stacked this high. Unless our next podcast is about how we felt about this podcast.
like how HBO or The Walking Dead does like a talk back. It's like, I felt really good about last week's podcast. The witty banter between Drew and I would just really took off. He made that one joke, donkey dicks. It landed perfectly as we segued into our main story.
Brandon, I am so beyond tempted to do that. You have no idea.
Hey, we don't have a topic for next week, so have at it.
When are they going to finish the Disney versus Pixar thing?
Patience, mortals. Patience. But sorry, we should finish that.
Yeah, eventually. But you jump in. I know you got the ire in you.
So, look, people, I think it's fair to say that we have a vibrant film criticism culture, especially on the internet. You go to Rotten Tomatoes, you see hundreds and hundreds of people reviewing these movies, and people, go there. It's a pretty high traffic site. Trailers are using Rotten Tomatoes like as promotional material, which we can get into that. I don't know if that's really the best idea, but people want to go there because people are really conscious about spending their money on something, and they want to make sure it's a good product that they're going to go see. Some people like me will see a movie or television program regardless of its content. Like, whatever MCU movie is coming out, I don't care if it's bad, I don't care if it's good, I'm going to go see it. Because on the whole, I think they're pretty good. If there's a new Star Wars movie, it could suck, but it's a franchise I really like and I've always trusted and familiar with. If there's a David Fincher movie, I will try to give it the benefit of the doubt. If I don't see it in theater, I will try to see it also. That being said, if you're on the fence about something and you're going into a movie, I feel like you're almost obligated to tell people some kind of a plot synopsis. I'm not saying give the whole movie away, but you have to share some positive and some negative aspects about the movie. Like if you're maybe not in a written review, but if you're talking about it on a show such as this or others that you see on YouTube, I think you have to. And people that get upset about it, I think, are rather unjustified. Like I'll stop it there.
So you're saying that you have to give a synopsis for a movie or a television show?
I'm not saying you have to, but I find if your review is intended not just to entertain but to inform, you should try to make it as informative as possible because that's what people tend to expect. If people are going into a review not wanting to have the movie ruined in any way, shape, or form, why are you watching the damn review? Just see the movie.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you want to go into a movie cold, it's your responsibility to go into that movie cold.
Absolutely.
I mean, I get that, you know, sometimes just an article title can kind of spoil or something. Like, why you need to see the comedy, the Emoji Movie, and I can be, fuck, I thought it was a Holocaust drama, and, you know? So,
genre of messing up.
just reading that article title technically spoils a little thing for me. I didn't know anything about John Wick 2, but I believe I mentioned this in our debut episode. So I said, it kind of has sci-fi elements.
Yeah.
So I spent the whole time waiting for sci-fi elements, and it was a one-word comment that didn't say anything about the plot, but it did kind of ruin things for me. And I wasn't expecting to hear that. And I'm upset by it, but I don't necessarily blame the person, but it's a question of, you know, should I? I don't know, because I guess that's the thing. In order to create a perfect environment, there are some people that don't mind if things are spoiled completely. They exist. There are some people that don't mind knowing about the movie, but they don't want to know certain elements. They want to keep it mostly a surprise. But
I fall into that middle-ish category. Like, if there's something that's going to be ruined that will... And, I mean, if your movie is held together by this ending or this plot device or whatever, think just about any Shyamalan movie and a lot of movies that have been since... Maybe it's not such a good movie, but and you know, so therefore I'll try to stay away from that being ruined for me. But on the whole, if it's like, if I'm given like a character action that was like really cool, I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. That'll just make me want to see it even more. Like I got to see this on the screen. Anyway, I wrongfully interrupted you. Keep going.
So, I mean, I just involuntarily burped in the middle of that.
That's fine. No, it's a good punctuation.
It's all that lettuce gas. It's so gross now that I made that a phrase. Anyway, there do exist people that just want to go in completely cold, though. I know I am occasionally that kind of person. I'm all over the place, honestly. I think I completely spoiled Wonder Woman for myself because I'm just like, yeah, fine. But then something like...
It ruined it and you watched too many reviews?
I
or?
read the whole synopsis. I know everything. I still haven't seen it. I'm supposed to see it with my family, and then they went without me, and... I don't feel like a Wonder Gentleman is all I'm saying. But anyway, there are times I want to go in cold. The Dark Tower was an example.
You saw that?
I did not.
Okay.
Here's the thing. My friend really likes the book series, and the movie was coming out. And my friend has this stupid thing. In my opinion, is stupid because it is.
I am. Like, for the audience listening, I know exactly who he's talking about, which will make this even more enjoyable for me. But go on.
He's got a girlfriend. And there was a year, I'm like, hey, want to see this movie? I saw it with my girlfriend. Hey, want to see this movie? I saw it with my girlfriend. Want to see this movie? I saw it with my girlfriend. He's just seeing every fucking movie with his girlfriend under the sun. And I was saying, dude, I mean, that's fine that you're seeing a lot of movies with her, but you're not leaving any movie-going experiences for your friends. And, you know, our friendship is partially built on our love for movies, and I want to be able to experience stuff with you. And obviously, it's allegedly out of the cards for us to go together, because I don't get along with her swimmingly, I guess you could say. I don't dislike her at all, but I guess it's just not a friend-girlfriend match made in heaven.
I see what you're saying. I'm going to stop you right there. What the fuck does out of the cards mean?
What? Did I say that?
You said that.
I must have hailed that out of nowhere.
I was like, did you mean like tarot cards? Or like it's not in the cards, therefore we are not fated to see this movie?
out of...
If you totally messed it up, like I've never heard that expression
When
before.
did I say... Hold on, give me the context.
You said you were... I almost said the guy's name. You were talking about how... You guys just don't see movies. Like I guess it's out of the cards for us to see movies. I guess now, because you never see.
Oh, yeah, that does make sense. You know, in the cards means that it is something that's going to happen. It's in the cards.
It's in the tarot.
Out of the cards means something that's not going to happen.
So I was right to assume tarot cards. Okay.
And I have never heard that broken down before, though. Now I just sort of question it. I think it makes sense. But, yeah, I guess tarot. Yeah, tarot. Oh, yeah. The whole time I was explaining it, I was thinking about the standard 52 deck. It didn't actually make any sense. So, anyway. Wow, I'm getting sidetracked.
I know, sorry.
It doesn't matter. Whatever. Spoilers. So, his thing was, well, the problem is you see movies spontaneously, and my girlfriend needs to schedule things. So that means, like, every single movie you're gonna see with your girlfriend because I see things spontaneously? Which means yes. So I'm like, okay, that's the fucking stupidest thing in the world, but fine. So now I schedule every fucking movie I want to see that year with him in the beginning of the year. I scheduled Cars 3, and he fucking bailed. And I gave him so much shit for it. And he said, well, you scheduled it in advance, but you didn't schedule a time. I'm like, I'm sorry I didn't have the show times for Cars 3 in January. I'm sorry, I'm still incredibly incensed about that.
We'll talk about Cars 3 some other time. But anyway, The Dark Tower, you're saying.
Well, that was our third scheduled movie.
Okay.
But he really likes the books, and I really wanted to go into the movie. I haven't read the books. I just wanted to have the experience of The Dark Tower. I don't know anything about it except its title, and I guess Idris Elba is in it. It's all I knew. It got horrible reviews.
Yep.
Really, really bad. And it's funny, because every time I saw the trailer in the movies, and you know this, because you witnessed me doing it.
I saw it.
I'm like, oh wait, I can't know anything about this. And I was just like...
I forgot he did this. Yeah, we were watching Baby Driver, and the Dark Tower thing came on. And he's like, I can't listen to this. I can't do this. I'm like, oh, it's fine. I've seen this. We'll just have a side conversation.
Brandon, keep talking to me. You need to say things. I need to be distracted.
You know, Idris Elba should be the new James Bond. Blah blah blah. Anywho, yeah. So you cut off hearing anything about it.
Yes, and seeing anything about it. I wouldn't look at it. Of course, it just gets abysmal reviews.
Yeah, they're bad.
I have a conversation with my friends, and I go, you know, we're at a point where I need to wonder, should this be my exposure to The Dark Tower? Is it so bad that I actually should avoid watching the movie in order to not have that story ruined for me? And he thought, yeah, you probably shouldn't see the movie. So, we did not. All of that is relevant, just barely, because that's an example of how I like to go into movies cold. So,
nice.
What all of that is getting around to is that if we wanted to create a perfect atmosphere to accommodate all types of spoiler people, we can't have any kind of information that's even remotely leading, except, I guess, a title at the bare minimum. Because if some people want to go in colds, then as a society, a culture, we would have to respect that and not mention anything at all. We'd have to make it so if people wanted to know more, they would have to seek it out and they couldn't stumble upon it. And that would also seep into the way we have conversations. If we wanted to talk about a movie, we couldn't even say, oh, it was so good, you need to see it. Maybe, hey, so The Dark Tower is something that I want to go on cold and I'm really interested in seeing. You couldn't warn me, like, no, Drew, the omens, you mustn't go. Please, you'll die in there.
So you're talking about a kind of mandate that we just have? Or like a cultural expectation.
It's like how people didn't say Voldemort. You know, it's just all the Wizarding Worlds just never, ever mentioned it. It was that just the rule, really. It's just how everyone thought. And it's like Harry Potter said, the Emoji Movie got a 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, oh, I can't believe you said that, Harry
Don't tell me it's bad!
It's just, you just have to not say anything. And do I agree with the worlds like that? I think, honestly, I can see how that would be ideal in a lot of ways. But I would be remiss to not see how that can be limiting in a lot of ways, too. I think that some responsibility needs to be put on the people that want to go in cold because they're a minority. If ever it becomes an overwhelming majority of people want to go into movies cold, I think things will shift a little bit. I think they'll have to. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's difficult to draw the line of when it becomes your fault for being spoiled about the littlest thing or it becomes somebody else's fault. Mm-hmm. Would it be a problem if you said something like, oh, I love in The Lion King how Scar is one of the best deaths ever, and I'd be like, oh, now I know he dies. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Is it your fault? Is it my fault? I think there is a way to draw the line, but I think it's
so
convoluted.
If there's a way to draw the line, it's certainly there's like a willful spoiler who I had Star Wars Episode 7 spoiled for me like that. Like I should not have been reading the comments on this person's post on Facebook. They're a critic I follow a lot. They did this cool thing where they're like, okay, all wings report in red this standing by, and then everyone had like red Power Ranger standing by, like red October standing by, red this, red this, red this, red this. And I wanted to do my thing too. In the middle of it all, someone just posted a screenshot they took at like the cinema of definitely a what would be considered a spoil scene, and I feel the rage that people who want to go in cold do, because I went off on this little guy, like I was blinded by rage, and it might have been because I was under a lot of stress at the same time and was really looking forward to this movie, and I now had a real critical part in it ruined for me. So like I said, I'm sort of the middle ground. Like if you ruin a key thing, and I'm just like, dude, you suck. I mean, he's clearly like a Gamergate misogynist douche, so I really couldn't care less about whether his feelings were hurt or not because he didn't seem to care. But I can understand that. So that's like a willful example of spoiler. What I take umbrage with somewhat is if people are just careless.
Yeah.
When people are just careless, or people are careless, which maybe people who are careless are at fault, maybe they're not. That's more of a gray area, I think. But when a person says something that objectively does not seem to be a spoiler, like their impression of something, and then a person comes in and is like, oh, hey, now I'm expecting something, so you ruined it, and that was a shitty thing to do. It's like, well, sorry.
Yeah, it's tough.
Like I'm not sorry.
The instance you're talking about, it's interesting because that person was expecting an environment.
Yeah, I'm speaking from personal experience about this, so color me irritated.
That person wanted an environment where they could go in completely cold.
Yep.
And it's just not an environment we live in. Mm-hmm. So I understand his expectations. I wouldn't say were wrong, but I think they were unreasonable.
Agreed. We're not saying that the minority of people who want to go into a movie cold are wrong. That's how you want to see a movie, and that's how you should try to see a movie. But you can't reasonably expect to, be on a public forum like Facebook, like Rotten Tomatoes, like Metacritic, like Fandango or IMDb, and be like, it's like you are going into the lion's den of spoilers. I will accept some personal responsibility, saying I had no business posting this type of spoiler. I did it because I wanted to stimulate interest in a certain piece of media. I didn't want to do it to spoil. Maybe I was careless in my delivery. I will accept responsibility on that. But don't say it's a shitty thing to do. Like, I don't know, ruin the end of 5 movies.
You should say his cell phone number right now. Because
let's dox this guy, yo!
That's a...
Go like 4chan and
just saying. You can comment like, here, I did a real shitty thing. Compare, please. Like, but I guess a good place to end on is general rules. Mm-hmm. What should be general rules? Actually, not. No, I have a whole other thing to talk about on spoilers, actually. Has this been recording the whole time?
Yeah.
I've been so paranoid this entire time. You like the button. I always am, because I can't see it from here. So every time you see me get a little bit closer, I'm like, please tell me this is not being lost.
I hit the damn button.
I believe you, I do, but I cannot shake that paranoia until you confirm it. Basically, every time you hit the button, I need you to sit down.
Nice to feel validated, folks. Nice to feel validated.
Yeah, sit down, get up, check, and then go, yup, it's still on. And then I'll go, oh, okay.
Well, Brandon said it's okay.
I think general rules is you should do your best to avoid looking at reviews, looking at tweets, posts about the thing that you want to see. I don't think our mutual friend should have been looking at posts. I think you can avoid it. I really do.
I think you can avoid it, especially when the episode of media is premiering within the hour.
I think
that's what I do.
If you're going to bring up a movie, I would not say anything about it that is a major spoiler unless you know the person wants to be spoiled.
Agreed. What I do if I try to recommend films publicly on Facebook, I will give a review without going into plot. I just that's how I do it. I understand that people who are like actual film critics, like if you're going to them, then I will. I'm not trying to contradict myself here. I do think they should be able to give a little more information because that's what you're looking for. But because a lot of people on my Facebook are unsoliciting information about this movie, then I feel like I should cater to their interest.
Yeah.
So maybe I was in the wrong, and I apologize.
I don't know. I do think the tricky part is how much can you say about the movie? Basically, let's say we want to talk about The Lion King. I keep mentioning that because The Lion King 1.5 remains one of the movies in this DVD stack holding up Brandon's mic.
Yep.
So, am I allowed to say The Lion King was a really, really good movie? Am I allowed to say it was really critically well reviewed? Oh, Nathan Lane was hilarious as Timon.
Now I have expectations.
And that's the thing. I think a good line is you can talk about your feelings about the movie. I thought it was really good. It made me feel this way. And then, this is kind of up for debate. You can ask, is it alright if I talk about that acting I liked or moments that I liked that aren't major spoilers? And if they're cool with that, you can dip into that too. But I think if you want to go in cold, right from the get-go, you should say, I want to go in completely cold. So I guess there's like two things to ask. One, do you mind, if I talk about it? Yeah, that's cool. Say your feelings. Do you mind if I go into more detail? I think those are polite things to do that could help, but it's a question of, should that be required? You know what I mean? I get, to make this maybe too political, it's
I know where you're going. Go for it.
I actually am really curious. What's your guess?
No, you say it first.
I say it first?
Yeah.
Asking people what their pronouns are?
Nope, not what I was thinking.
Okay, what were you thinking?
But I was thinking of like trigger warnings.
Oh,
which I am for in a sense. I mean, they're not analogous at all, obviously. But I mean, in the sense of a warning is like nice to be like, okay, sensitive topic, blah blah blah. Here are your expectations. But no, I think yours works well too. Like, don't assume nothing, basically.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, I admit this. Maybe it's wrong. It probably is on some level. But it feels odd, every new person I meet going, what are your pronouns? Because
really?
the fact of the matter is, a lot of people haven't really adopted that, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people I meet won't even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've seen like variations on that, like this is the appropriate way to ask a person who is not cisgendered, like how they identify or whatever. And another cool thing I've seen, my friend in Ireland, she was at this convention for like
loud, sorry.
It's okay, for like some sort of college thing, and they had these name tags that said, hello, my name is this, and my pronouns are these. And I'm like, that's really nice and clever. It certainly saves the trouble of asking what is, at this point in time, a somewhat awkward question, certainly for cisgender people.
I get how you can be offended if you want to be referred to as she, and someone's calling you he. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I don't know, if I were in this situation, I would totally understand people's assumptions. I wouldn't be offended, because the way it works is like a majority of people that look traditionally female identify with the traditionally female pronouns. It's, there's just a majority, and so your brain is just going to assume, okay, well, because most people that look traditionally female have traditionally female pronouns, then when I meet a female, I will refer to her as she, her, and things like that. And I think that in that case, if those aren't your pronouns, just a simple correction, like, actually, these are my pronouns. They can go, oh, hey, I don't think that's a tremendously big deal. Is, instead of everyone asking what are your pronouns, just if you have exclusive pronouns, we'll say, just point it out. You know what I mean? And I feel like I do that sometimes. Like I might say, oh, actually, yeah, it's like if someone assumes, like, oh, your parents must be very proud of you. And it's like, well, actually, I just have a mom. My dad isn't with me anymore. Things like that. I feel like people make base assumptions all the time, and
I can see what you're saying. I think I'm getting way off topic with this conversation, talking about gender identification. I see what you're saying. I disagree with that. It's not that big of a deal, because when it's something so inherent to a person's identity, which I get, maybe their family
agree
structure
with you on that
but
thing.
because of how personal a person's gender identification is, for a culture that is, on the not even on the majority, on the supermajority, cisgendered, like, to feel alienated in that, like, that's just another symptom of it. Now, I think that maybe the correct way to go about mistakes like that, and because they are mistakes, unless you're the person who's just gender is what your sex is at birth. The people who are like, there's only two genders and stuff like that, blah blah blah. Like, apart from that, but if you're confronted with that incidence for the first time, you use the wrong pronoun for a person and then they correct you, they can do it nicely, but then maybe you should be the one to, maybe be more conscious of that when
totally
meeting a. I liked where you're going. I just wanted to make it come full circle with, like,
so your
expectations were changing, so we should both. Maybe,
okay, yeah. Well,
there's both things. More so things cisgendered people can do, but
I think it's important to be educated about it.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't have a problem if we started living in a world where people always asked that.
Me neither. Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it's a great point. I get that. It is, in its essence, a little thing. Just it is a little correction. Like, actually, these are my pronouns. But I get how just the assumption can hurt. But I don't think
when it's part of your identity, yeah.
It doesn't take away that there is that assumption that, like, I could ask for pronouns. It won't change that I probably made an assumption in my head. If we have a culture where nothing is assumed anymore, that's great. But I think until then, I think that damage, as much as it sucks, it's going to be there. And I hope it gets better. I think we both want that to get better, and I certainly don't want them to be in pain, but it's just a matter of, I guess, the kind of expectations you can have in that interim,
Correct.
what I mean?
Expectations are what they are right now because we're in dynamic, changing times of social norms, but in a decade or so, it'll change, I think. I have positive feelings about this.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was our weekly political segment.
Is that a new segment?
Are we qualified to talk about this?
Should I play the fuck yeah this week music?
No, it's playing. No.
See, now I gave them a reminder. So now they're definitely going to be waiting for it.
And, we still have a little more time to talk about this topic, and I want to talk about something that maybe we can feed into. Maybe just talk about it a little bit. We've talked about this outside of this podcast before.
I don't even know if I finished the point I was making.
Oh, did you not? I'm
sorry. Spoilers.
Because you went into the gender identity analogy.
Just hold off. I guess.
Sure.
What was I talking about? My question that I was posing is that the way it should be? Should you have to ask people, hey, do you want to be spoiled about this? Or, should it more be, oh yeah, I just got back from seeing the Emoji Movie, and then you say, oh, just so you know, I want to go into the Emoji Movie cold because emojis changed my life, and I think this is going to be the greatest movie I've ever seen.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah, so you're on the side of, there should be an interjection.
Mm-hmm.
I guess just like the gender thing, I could go both ways.
Mm-hmm.
But
both ways.
I suppose.
I apologize for that. Slap on the wrist for that.
I guess I think the interjection though, because we've got a majority here. A majority of people that don't seem to mind minor spoilers. I think in terms of major spoilers though, most people do mind that. So I do think it's your job to say, do you mind if I go into big spoilers here? And you should know what constitutes big spoiler. I think that's like a learned skill.
Right. Yeah. Well, in terms of big spoilers, and we'll just touch upon this very briefly. I think we'll just have this be the culmination of what we're talking about. We've talked more about public domain spoilers. These are movies with sort of twist endings that are either film classics or they've been in the public zeitgeist for so long that we've all, and when I say we, I mean we, the movie buff, general film going, television watching public, have all come to know about them. And I will not be spoiling these. We did put a spoiler warning up, but I'm thinking of films like The Sixth Sense, Citizen Kane, Soylent Green, maybe God, I had so many.
I gotta say,
maybe
Citizen
The Godfather.
Kane,
Yeah, Citizen Kane. What?
yeah, like the sci-fi element in that was so interesting.
Charles Foster Kane in space.
I want someone to go into Citizen Kane. Like, where's just the aliens? Like, the whole time. Oh, I need that. I need that to happen.
Xanadu, I thought was the alien empire.
Just think about how great that would be. It's not just a movie. It's Citizen Kane, one of the greatest movies, and someone watching it expecting an alien.
Hey, someone should make Citizen Kane in space.
Brandon, I mean, you went to film school. I think you got this.
Yeah, I went to the non-existent film school of the University of blah blah.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, I know.
Where'd you hail that from?
I don't know. Yeah, that was a good use of it, I guess.
I said it way earlier and he didn't even notice.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow. Now he had to make it obvious for me.
It was great how subtle it was. It was a pretty good joke the way I said it.
So
but it was like, whoop.
So briefly, those kinds of movies, you think contemporary, classic, doesn't matter. We should still put up a reasonable front.
Yeah, that's what I think. I got in maybe the most heated debate I did with one of my friends over this. And my friend basically thought, I forget the number, but I'll say 30. Like, after 30 years, you should be able to just talk about a movie and say spoilers and stuff. And for me, I disagree with that because there's millions upon millions of movies, and as a film buff, I'm interested in seeing a lot of them. But basically, I can only see movies from the last 30 years and have them not completely spoiled for me. Anything from 30 years and beyond, yeah, it's the risk of it being completely ruined for me. And I don't think that's fair. I think if we revere these movies to the point where they're classics, shouldn't we be fostering an environment where other people can enjoy them in the same way that the people who made them classics did?
Nope.
I
see what you're saying. I think your stance in moderation is what I would tend to adopt.
Okay.
Like, yeah. That was good.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, no,
Are we done?
I'm just trying to keep this shorter than we would otherwise make it.
Oh, who cares?
Yeah.
We can be in debt. How long are we?
I don't know. We're at, 48 minutes in.
We'll be okay.
Cool. So you've got a couple segments for us.
We're done with spoilers?
Yeah, I've got nothing else to say.
I guess, well, so you're about that in moderation, so which means that, what does that mean?
It means, like, certain films, I'm like, yeah, it's certain films, like certain culturally important films, but if you're like gonna spoil Halloween 5, like
So-
I think that's
If
if
I've never seen The Wizard of Oz, you're basically allowed to tell me how the witch melts by water and how it was all a dream, which is technically like a big ass twist.
that
like-
is I guess so. No, because I think that's a film classic and is beloved by so many that maybe I shouldn't ruin it for you.
Yeah, I guess, those rules we talked about, I guess, could even apply with the classics. Like, you can talk about minor things, but I think even with the classics, it doesn't hurt to just say, do you mind if I go into major spoilers? I would...
Spoilers for the great train robbery. They rob a train.
Oh, shit. I will admit that the longer they've been around and the more established they are, I will give more leeway if, let's say, I haven't seen The Great Dictator. I really don't want it spoiled for me. But I accidentally at one point saw this sort of video mashup that featured the really great, amazing speech that was at the end of it. And I didn't realize it was from that movie until it was too late. I went, oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's the end of the movie.
But I don't blame myself. Like, I don't, well, I shouldn't say that. I don't blame the
Other
world
people.
for that happening, because I go,
How
well,
dare you show me this?
yeah, it's understandable. It sucks. It does, because I would have loved to go there and
does
have the
suck.
speech be a
Yeah.
surprise, but I can't reasonably go, we shouldn't live in a world where this is so popular. You know what I mean? It's just, if it's going to be that popular, it's just going to be harder for me, who wants to go on not spoiled, to avoid that. It's just, I've got more of an uphill battle, and nothing changes that. It's sort of the double-edged sword of popularity. The more popular it is, the harder it actually is for a lot of people to enjoy it in the same way. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not that bad. I still think something can be insanely popular and most people can enjoy it without spoilers. But yeah, obviously the ratio of this movie was ruined for me goes up the more popular it is.
Wizard of Oz is one of those films I don't think I've ever seen end to end.
I know I have, but it's been a long time.
Titanic was like that for a while, and then I watched the 2 VHS thing and had myself a nice cry.
Young Frankenstein.
Perfect.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, which
I
Frankenstein?
totally didn't fucking listen to your emotional thing
That was
you
fine.
just said.
No, that's fine.
I'm
Just
sorry.
Stab
No.
my heart.
Titanic, you had a nice cry at Titanic.
Yeah.
Okay, I put
Yeah.
it together. Young Frankenstein is a movie that, for some reason, every time I put it on, I wind up making out with someone. So I've never actually... And that's the
That's
thing.
why we've never watched it.
You figured me out.
You
But-
figured me out, sir.
Were you referencing what I think you were?
Yes, I was.
Oh, wow. Nice. Let's not explain that for anyone.
No, it's not. Yeah.
That'd be a soft spoiler.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone who knew us in 9th grade and knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, our segment. This is actually a little bit appropriate. I think we're going to do the movie game,
Right.
and I think this deserves its own theme song, honestly. Because we have a lot of segments, and only Fuck Yeah This Week has music.
That's true.
so-
We should have more music cues.
Yeah, I'm thinking that everything we've just been saying will be the lyrics, and there's been music going on this whole time. Is that cool with you?
So you're going to splice what we said and put music over it, and then have that be...
Yeah, like the
This-
music's playing right now, and all our dialogue is just permanently going to be the lyrics to the song every time we do this segment.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
He'll have to explain it to me in post. I'm not following.
So,
The movie game.
what's going to happen is we are each going to think of a movie that we have seen with each other.
With each other,
Has to be a
okay.
movie we've seen with each other,
Ooh.
and we are allowed to ask questions to try to figure out what it is. And I think that whoever's going should whisper into the microphone so the listeners know what the movie is, and they can...
The password is lap.
That's my favorite movie. I can go first if you want.
Please do, because I was prepared to talk about any movie, but now you're qualifying it. I'm like, oh, what movies have we seen together?
I know, you got to think about it.
I do.
But if you could find a way where you're not listening...
Sure. I'm not listening.
You're not listening?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm looking away, and I'm not listening.
American Beauty. Could you hear that?
I did not hear that at all.
I'm going to say it again. American Beauty. Did you hear that?
Did not hear that at all.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I'll say it again. Oh, no, he's listening.
So, yeah, you just... Let's see if you could figure out what the movie is by asking yes or no questions.
Yes or no questions. Is it a Pixar movie?
No.
Is it a Disney movie?
No.
Is it animated?
No.
Okay. I should have started with is it animated? And do I have an infinite number?
I guess so.
Okay, infinite it is. Is it... Was it made in the last 10 years?
No.
Was it made in the last 20 years?
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully this doesn't get boring for our listeners. I mean, I gotta...
That's why I wanted to say it in the beginning.
Oh, that was a good idea, yeah. Yeah. They're shouting to it, me. They're shouting it at me right now through the screen. Is it an action film?
No.
Is it a comedy?
I wouldn't say so. I don't think it would qualify as one.
You don't think Schindler's List is a comedy?
I would say yes if it were Schindler's List, but we haven't seen that together.
That's true, we haven't. Did we see it in school?
No.
In high school? No?
Nope.
Is the lead actor Matthew Broderick?
No.
Damn.
That narrows out a lot.
God, no.
There goes a lot of movies.
Is it a independent film?
It feels like one.
So it's not one of the ones I'm thinking of. Is it a short film?
No.
It's feature length. Maybe that will have that as a rule. It has to be feature length.
Yeah.
Has it won an award? Like a major award? Not like
yes.
Not like an Annie or a Saturn.
Big ol' award.
It's not animated. Last 20 years, non-animated major award. Did it win an Oscar?
Yes.
Was it for acting?
Yes.
Was it also for directing or picture?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we haven't seen American Beauty together.
Let me stop you right there. Yes, we have.
We have?
Yes.
Oh my god, we did! Is it American Beauty?
Yes. I could let you suffer. I did
Is
not.
it $1 Million Baby? What is it?
Yeah, we did, remember?
Yeah, I remember.
I have a fond memory of that
Good
I've never
times.
shared with you.
So, brief story. We're watching American Beauty in the basement. Of course, when I say we, I mean me and 3 other people who are not Drew. Drew comes in halfway through the movie to be, like, clandestine and weird, and that's how he watched the rest of it.
I remember that I did come in halfway, but I did technically see it with you.
You did.
And I will never forget. I think it was the first time you saw it. The movie ended.
Oh, no. The first time I saw it, I was alone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is an even better story.
Then tell away.
So I don't even know if you remember this. The movie ended, and I think the 3 other people we were with, that was their first time, I think. So we were all processing it. You know, it's a lot to think about. We were all processing it silently, and then you just very quietly just leaned forward, cupped your hands in front of you, put your face in your hands, and went, and I remember all of our eyes are just darting around like, and like none of us wanted to knock you for it.
No.
Yeah, it was an emotional movie, but it was just so shocking.
It's a combination of things. It's one, that was the second time I remember seeing it end to end. The first time I saw it, I was blown away by it. Like the acting, the directing, the story, and to cap it off, the credits begin on a cover of "Because" by the Beatles by the late great Elliott Smith. It was his birthday 2 days ago, actually.
Oh, hey.
and just hearing because somehow like made me break down and cry. And apparently I did it the second time. I don't think I'll cry subsequent times, but yeah, sounds right.
Oh, is it your turn?
Yes, it is.
All right.
He says the thing is, the film is Ratatouille. Ratatouille. Go ahead.
That was intense. Okay, you said it?
I did.
All right. It's Matthew Broderick in it.
Nope.
Did it do well at the Oscars in terms of awards?
It won one, I believe.
Was it an acting one?
No.
How recently did we watch it together? Oh, wait, nope, that's not yes or no.
Yeah.
Did we watch it together in the last year?
No.
Last 2 years?
No.
3 years?
Nope.
4?
Nope.
5?
Nope.
6?
Nope.
7?
Nope.
8?
Nope.
9?
Nope.
Oh, God. 10?
Yes.
Oh, no. So it's 2007.
Maybe.
Is it an animated movie?
Yes.
Cars?
No.
Ratatouille?
Yes.
Yes! That is pretty efficient.
Yeah. It could have been earlier, you know.
Wow. It could have been.
Yeah.
It could have been. Ratatouille was 2000. Yeah, that was 2007. Yeah.
The only time we saw it together was in the theater. So.
I remember that.
Wait a second. That was a June release, though, right? That wasn't a November release, was it?
No.
Okay.
It was summer. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Okay.
It was June.
We happened to see together. In years past, we'd see a Pixar movie on his birthday or something, but not this time.
Well, hey, we had The Good Dinosaur on my birthday. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, last time a Pixar movie came out on my birthday was The Incredibles, and I had a birthday party, and it's back when my birthday had meaning. So in an attempt to try to put more meaning into my life, I invited everyone to see The Good Dinosaur, and the number of people that showed up was fucking 0!
They saw the reviews.
I invited like 12 people, and nobody came. It was amazing.
For the record, I was not one of those 12 people.
No, you totally were.
I couldn't make it, dude.
I don't blame you. I don't blame anyone. It was just kind of amazing. Like, no one was able to come. And I was just like, fuck.
I probably had the best excuse.
No,
Hey, can you come see this movie? No, I live several hundred miles away.
You were in town, but something was up. And I remember...
Oh, was it Thanksgiving?
I think it was
No,
that week.
your birthday's before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but we were going to see it that weekend, I think. Because a lot of people were going to be
What
up.
was I home for? Anyway, yeah.
But and a lot of people had good excuses, but I remember it. I was just like, ah, man. But then the next birthday, I just sort of accepted it. Mm-hmm. But I should make this birthday meaningful. 24th birthday.
Yeah.
I should. I don't know. It used to be a real occasion. I guess the thing is, having a big party with a lot of friends over and going out to see a movie and come back and having pizza or something and staying up really late. Mm-hmm. Back then, that was a novelty.
Yeah.
Now that's just...
That's Thursday.
Yeah, it's just such a frequent occurrence that maybe it's just my fault for not realizing how fun it is, but I also think it's just the psychological thing that the more it happens, the less special it feels. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I guess the equivalent would be going way above and beyond. We gotta...
Yeah. We should have an orgy.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Dude!
Nice!
Yeah!
All right. What the fuck? I wish we said it at the same time. That would have been amazing.
Well, I have to anticipate your thoughts. That's what makes it clever.
Is that what you're doing? Man, I guess I'm obvious. I'm always suggesting orgies. I still wonder who's...
That's true.
Which of my friends...
Hey, we should have an orgy. Yeah, but... The emoji movie.
2 birds, 1 stone.
The emoji movie.
The emoji. Oh no! The porn parody. The emoji movie. It's the most disgusting word I've ever heard.
From the makers of Ratatouille comes the emoji movie.
The fuck? Just
Hey, are you the breasts emoji? Cool, because I'm the eggplant emoji.
ew. They have a bra or a bikini top.
They
right?
do. They don't have a breast emoji.
See, that's the thing. We need to get. You know what? No, I don't want to put any further thought into this concept. Why don't we just abandon it forever?
Let's abandon it forever until our next show.
Where we review how this one went.
Yeah, exactly.
And then inevitably go into more depth about the emoji movie. Do you know that there are rumors that the emoji movie was made instead of a Popeye movie?
I saw Popeye in the news. Is that what they're saying?
Popeye might technically happen, but basically it was
wait,
on the slate.
Sony made the Emoji Movie,
And Sony was going to be making
and
Popeye.
Sony was Columbia. That's weird though, because Popeye. I thought Paramount owned Popeye.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Who owns
Sorry,
what,
but yeah.
the test footage was great. They did just this little sequence, and it was really, really fun. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Sony Animation is the only studio like really doing cartoony stuff.
Really?
I
What about
like
Warner Brothers?
I don't know. Storks
Does Storks not do it for you?
Storks was I loved Storks, but it's not as cartoony. It is very cartoony, I have to say. It's definitely comparable, but I still don't even think it touches the Hotel Transylvania movies. They that feels they're really pushing it.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah.
I also hear they're not good.
I enjoyed them. I don't know. Maybe it's just because they were novelty.
Didn't you used to have the opposite opinion? They're like, oh, they're not bad. But have they grown on you?
Maybe I lied. I don't know.
Okay.
I've only seen them recently enough. I don't think they're great. I don't. But just in terms of the style, I enjoy it. And Popeye pushed it way further, which is great because that's what Popeye was like.
I would love a modern Popeye movie, not live action. Don't re-release the Robin Williams movie.
Yeah, no,
actual cartoon.
And it was CG, which was a bit of a bummer, but I'm just kind of used to that at this point.
Was Dave Coulier gonna do his voice?
Tom Kenny.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Tom Kenny makes sense.
Yeah, it was good casting.
But Dave Coulier can do like an actual Popeye.
God, how do you spell his last name? He's
C-O-
Full House guy.
Yeah, he's.
Oh,
Yeah.
ooh,
What?
oh, that was.
What?
So the guy that did the really corny Popeye jokes on
Yeah.
Full House
Yeah.
goes on to actually voice him
Yeah.
like 20 years out of his prime.
I don't know about that.
Well, he might not be out of his prime.
I don't think he's ever out of his prime because he's because that's like one of his few things that he's done apart from dating Alanis Morissette. He's always joking about it. Like on Bob Saget's roast, he was joking about it. On other, I think he was on Jenna Marble's show or something like that, and he joked about it. He's really cool. A friend of mine met him in Boston once, and he said he was really cool.
All right, let's get him on the show.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, we'd love to have you on the show. We'd love to have you do your impressions. Give us a call.
Can you do a campaign to just constantly tweet this out to him until he comes on our show?
Yes. I will do it.
Will he be cool with that?
I hope he has a handle. So
Yeah, he better have a Twitter. If not, we're gonna find a way.
we'll get something. We'll get John Stamos to persuade him.
Yeah, that'll be easier. That's the route we should go to.
Hey, John, can you talk to your old co-star for us, please? By the way, you're super hot, and Step Brothers was totally right about you.
I didn't see Step Brothers.
You haven't seen Step Brothers?
No.
Oh, spoiler! They make a John Stamos reference that he's.
I wanted to go into that sauce, Brandon! Ah! Come on!